Born and bred on the south side of Chicago in the in the Evergreen Park and Beverly neighborhoods, Joe Shanahan's allegiance to his Chicago roots have never wavered. He has spent the past 40 years helping to shape Chicago's music community from his post right here on North Clark Street. Comprised of Metro, Smart Bar, and the G-Man Tavern, Joe and his devoted team have built one of the few remaining independently owned and operated families of music venues in the country. Due to his global business philosophy, Shanahan holds an honorary degree from Columbia College and a Grammy honor from the Recording Academy. Some of the many civic commitments that fill his calendar include Uniting Voices Chicago, the Frankie Knuckles Foundation, Immerman Angels, Nourishing Hope, Planned Parenthood, the Society of Contemporary Art, and the Museum of Contemporary Photography. And right now, he's here to tell us what's happening. Joe.
What is happening? I love that. First, thank you very much, Andrew, and everyone for showing up tonight. My 2 minutes is going to be quick, I hope, unless I stumble and this fall into like the love of losing a friend. But my name is Joe Shanahan, and thank you for coming. Don DeGrazia, an author, a father, a friend. Don was, to many people, a teacher, a classmate to my wife Jennifer at Columbia College in the writing department, where I first met him after I gave him a ride home from class one night. He also hit me up for a job. We worked together during the 80s and 90s, and he had a nickname at Metro, which almost all staff do. His nickname was Knuckles. He used his words, but he could also use, if necessary, a more pugilistic approach to communicating, if you know what I mean. On the screen, you can see the book that he wrote right now, American Skin. I have a story about Don, about making a handwritten sign during a security mosh pit shift that he used to hold up to the crowd. He used his words, and he used the printed word as well. Once with a Rowdy, Slayer, or Naked Reagan, or Metallica show, I'm not sure which one it was, he made a sign that he held up that you could see, and it said, "Don't do that." Don't do that. He didn't say it, he just held the sign up. I love this. Who is this guy? Of course, this is, the crowd is surfing, the stage driver's going over his head, but they could read it. They knew what was going on. They weren't listening. He couldn't talk to them, but he used his words again, the creative way. We also began to get to know each other over the years, and actually a few beers here at the G-Man Tavern after some Metro shift shows. We began to plan, with the help of Randy Albers and Columbia College, something called Story Week. And that idea was, we were co-conspiring to figure out ways to use the funds from the college to bring in our favorite writers for them to read their stories from their books. Hubert Selby, Richard Prince, and of course, the legendary Irvin Welsh, who became very good friends with us. We had 1,000 people show up to hear Irvin Welsh read from Trainspotting at Metro. It's first of its kind. And Don was part of that idea. Let's bring people together to listen to authors. Unbeknownst to me, we were on a more crazy, fun night. I'd also like to mention really quickly that Don used communication and words to communicate. Don was a writer, a teacher, whose abilities to connect with us all, he showed us and took the time as a teacher and a solid co-worker and a colleague of mine. Don had a rabid love for 16-inch softball. What? So he invented this team called the Lee Elia Experience. Does anyone know who Lee Elia is? Do you know about the Lee Elia rant? Well, Don DeGrazia names his softball team that he's the captain of after Lee Elia. Well, this guy, I'm falling in love with him more and more. Every day was something with him, of course. We went to baseball games. We went drinking to dinner. When he married his beautiful wife, Sierra, and had their child, he took the baby to the stroller and brought Daisy to Metro for the first time about 4 months ago. This is where it gets tough. Donna Grazia. Knuckles. He was about connecting communities and that ethos that came into his radar, the people. He shared books, music, and softball, and he touched all of us in so many ways. Thank you, Don, for everything. Read his book. Celebrate his life. He's a very important person to Chicago.